Morning, everybody. It is March 31st, 8:25 a.m. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I got big PCE data coming in today. Wonder if that will push the market up or down. Who knows? Because inflation hasn't been on part of everybody's mind of late. It's been the baking issues. Let's get into the futures. Let's see. We got the VIX up 0.95. Um, Crude's up 0.58. The Russell's up 0.38. Dollar's up 0.29. The Dow's up 0.27. ES up 0.18. 10-year yield slightly higher. Um, Bonds being bought slightly. Silver is pretty much flat. Nasdaq is actually down slightly, down 0.05. Gold's down. Bitcoin down. Everybody's kind of going to await this news that's going to drop at 8:30. Um, let's get quickly into this. Um, let's look at Netflix. Netflix, I believe, is cutting some of their staff, and it's going to do less movies. Um, so that's getting a little pop. Tesla looks like Musk is going to go to China, um, and then we're followed by Goldman Sachs, but not big. Baba is really let's see. Google actually got a downgrade. They have actually like a lawsuit going on. Um, let's see here. Meta and Baba's really the only laggard to speak of. Disney, not much of a leader, but up. Laggard, Salesforce, United Healthcare, not much there. We're waiting on news. Um, and I didn't go to that next here, so I apologize for that. So you guys can look at that. Disney, Salesforce, and finally sectors. Leader, financials, not much of a leader, right? And then technology and semis, a little bit of a laggard, but we're waiting on this news basically. That's what we're waiting on. So let's go to that. Let's see what we have. So we have PCE, right? But today I'd be very careful of day trades. You got Chicago PMI 945. Then you have consumer expectations and sentiment at 10 a.m. So this could cause some volatility, 9:45, 10 a.m. I mean, I really have to remind myself of that because I hope to not be in a trade before then. I'd like to wait to after 10. Um, so we have to see. This news will drop in less than 2 minutes. I will have a chart ready of the ES open. And let's see if this has any effect on the market today. Not sure if it will. I'm going to pull up the index chart here. Let's see here. Oh, not the end. That's what I wanted. We'll wait for this news to come out. Very curious if this will, what it will do. So core PCE month over month, expecting zero point 0.4. Year over year expecting 4.7. That's the core. Year over year expecting 5.1. Regular PCE month over month expecting 0.5. So let's see if they're hotter, if they're colder. Very curious. We can look at the chart first. Let's see what that does. So news has dropped. I still haven't had an update yet. You can see we're moving around a little bit. Okay, they ticked down. So slightly under, pushing the market higher now. So slightly under, and all personal spending went down as well. So it's softer, which is pushing the market higher. Is that enough? Is that enough to get these bulls even breaking higher here? What do you guys think? Think this makes a bull run now? I have no clue. Let's check the NASDAQ. Let's see what that's doing. So NASDAQ had some selling here. Pretty much almost evaporated all that selling. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of selling. In supply still. Oh yeah? Okay. Sentinel 911. Welcome to the channel. Not sure if you're a new watch or you've been watching for a little bit. Let's zoom it out here. This is just the NASDAQ, which has been on a run. Boy, jeez. Let's just see the big scheme. We have this supply. We have a supply zone up here as well, with a level of 13482 in the NASDAQ. There is not much. I mean, let's make this even. Put this on a 12-hour timeline. We can get a better view of this. Just to look at. So our if we do go higher today, we do have a high volume node here at like, what is that, 132.42. That's the end of this supply zone. And next supply is around 13396 with the level at 13482. So there's not much stopping it past this right here, past 13214 in the NASDAQ. So let's go back to the ES. We could do the same thing just to see where we're at here. Obviously, I have a better chart in my other. I just want to look at it here real quick. ES a lot different than the Nasdaq, obviously. Got a lot of overhead supply here, so we have a supply zone at around 41.14 in the ES, with a nice level at 41.22. Okay, and then we have more supply up here, starting at around 41.65. So Nasdaq can run, right? But we have this here. You have to contend within the ES. But just look at this. This is a 12-hour chart. Just the buying is like, damn, right? Well, let's see what this can do. I mean, I don't think there's much shorts left to squeeze. So, what? You know what? Could be FOMO. I mean, it's hitting this key resistance of 40.96, and we're in supply, right? So, really have to see what can happen here. Getting some selling now. Have to see. All right, why don't we go over to the daily chart of the SPY now that that news is dropped. Talk about my anchor VWAPs. We're above them all. Okay. And yesterday, where did we hit? Exactly where I said, right? The 61.8 Fibonacci. That's at 403.85 or 403.92. That was resistant, right? And we have a key resistance level of 405. Now, where are we now? 404.89. We're right here at this key level. That's where the resistance was in the ES futures I was just showing you. We're right here. So, kind of make or break point, 61.8. You usually close above that, means that this down move is pretty much over and we're going to make a move, right? Now let's switch over to the black and white just because I like it. You can see it much easier, the levels. All right, so we came right up here, closed right up here. So still have to contend with the 405 level, which we're hitting against. Now we just hit it and we're coming back off of it. Okay, let's look at the Qs. All right, the Qs. So this 314 level, that was resistance a bunch of times. So the Qs came down and broke it and held it and closed above the 314.56 level yesterday, right? So where's the Qs at today? We're at 316.37. So we're like up here. Okay. So Q's much stronger. All right, next level to contend with, 320. Okay, we can zoom out to see 320 is. It's over here. And that's what that supply zone I was talking about in the ES was. Okay, let's look at the Dow. Okay, all right, that Dow did not hit the 50% fib yesterday. Almost did. That was 329.25. Almost did hit it. It didn't though. But where are we now? 329.73. We are past this slightly, the 50% Fibonacci, heading towards the 50-day moving average. Okay. Now let's see what the Russell's doing. Okay. What did the Russell do? It went right up to this key level, 176.67. Hit the 20-day simple moving average yesterday. All right. Now, where are we at today? 176.03. So we hit this, and I'm sorry, we closed down here. So it closed a lot weaker. So we're right under this level. So we're right about here right now. We're about in the mid of the range yesterday. So it did hit this, sold off. We closed down here. Okay, so 176 is a key level. Key level got rejected there yesterday. So just the weakest out of the indexes. All right. Let's look at our triple-headed monster. 10-year yield. Kind of made a move up. Kind of making a little bit of a move down. Have to see. Bonds awaiting. It's a smart money. Go with the VIX. VIX, we're at 19 right now, even. We're kind of in a little range the last couple days. Volatility has calmed down. The dollar, we made a little bit of a move up, but then that's been squashed. This is just a doji land. That is crazy. That is just a bunch of dojis. Very indecisive. Right now we're at 102.27. That is very indecisive. Okay. All right. So that's that. Really have to see if this market does. I mean, the market isn't going nuts right now. It's kind of holding in both. They're both in supply right now. So let's go to the futures. I'm going to give you the watch list just to see the current status of the futures. Let's go right to the ES. Right now, we're still in supply. All right. Sorry for the construction noise if anybody hears that outside. The friggin' jackhammer out there. Okay, so remember what I was talking about here. Let's just go to the real-time trading hours. This is just only real-time trading hours. You see a lot of distributions here. It's trying to build value out, right? So the most traded price of the week is here. That is 4,041. That's moved up a little bit, okay? Most traded price of the month here. It's around 40.30, 40.35. Okay, so we're holding above that. That's bullish. Now, look at the volume built out yesterday, right? Well, if this holds, we can move this most traded price of the week up here. And then what that means is, see this kind of like, this is a bullish imbalance here. You would expect some excess to build this profile out. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but that's generally what happens, because once you build value here and you hold it, you're going to go higher. More or less, you're going to go higher. So that's important. It's very important in the ES. Okay, so let's go back to what we're doing now, which is here. Okay, you can see this is the 24-hour profile basically. This is overnight and the real-time trading hours combined. So you can see we're just holding up here, which is bullish. Okay, let's look at what do we have. Okay, so we have an overnight high here, 40.98, overnight low, 40.78. We're gapping slightly higher. Price is at 40.91. Okay, we have a fairly wide POC, point of control from yesterday. The POC's actually, TPO POC's here. The most traded price volume is here. All right, so this is a couple things are setting up. I'm seeing some nuance here. All right, there's this definite nuance. All right, so there's gaps up slightly. We're in supply. Okay, we're coming close to not having a gap right now. We're moving down a little bit. All right, now what we have here is a weak low. All right, weak low right here. Okay, now if anybody's been watching, I talk about weak lows, poor highs, weak highs, poor low, all these types of like all this type of jargon in market profile. Okay, and the reason why this is weak, All right, you just have to think about it. This is the close from yesterday's right here. Okay, most traded price of volume is right here. Overnight low is here. So you see all of um, these these levels are stacking up. Okay. Now I'm not saying this gets taken out or whatever. I'm just telling you it is weak, meaning that if price does come down, and there's a demand zone here, right? If and you can see the volume here. Okay. If price does happen to break this, you're going to get a push lower. And if you don't get that push, that could be a nice scalp push. You can get a pullback, and it holds this level. Then we're probably going back here. So that's very important level here. The overnight low, the close, the most traded price of yesterday. Okay, that's very, very, very important level right now. We could definitely hold it too. So it's a pivotal level today is here. All right. So gapping still slightly up, right? So very, very easy. I'm not interested in any longs up here. However, let's go with the obvious play. You got good news. I just said this pivotal level, correct? All right. So this is what I would be interested in. If the market could push up, can't quite clean the supply out, starts to get a little selling, okay, you go right into this demand zone, into that key level that I'm just talking about. But we hold it. We pop up, come back down, make a higher low. I'd like to go long, targeting overnight high of 40.98. Hold on to a runner, go up to this weekly. I'm going to move this chart up a little bit so you guys can see this level. And I'll just redo that. I'll just redo this line for you guys. All right, so what I would like to see, a push up. Doesn't even matter. Push up, but we come back here. And this demand zone holds. Remember, this is very key. If it holds and you push up, come back down, make a higher low, you get long. Target overnight high, 40.98. Hold it, and you can go to like 41.12. That's it's a naked VPOC. If you hold it a little longer, you get into this supply. Okay, not interested in a long up here. I want to pull back. Okay. Now we're coming back in, right? So let's talk about the short. This key level here, the week low, is everything today. So same thing. You could push up, fine. If we come back down with volume, and the market very weak, and we break, we attempt to go back up to this level, okay? And then you make lower high, you could take this short. Take a short into this demand. You want to take a profit here, peel one off. Then you go back to yesterday's low, which is also the 50-day moving average. Okay, that's around 40.60. You got a demand here. So again, we'd be still above the most traded price of the week and the month down here. So it's still bullish. Okay, that is still bullish. So also, that could be the end of this little clean out, right? You clean out the little bit of longs. People can load up again, thinking there's going to be a move higher. You go into this demand zone. So let's say, we do this, come in here. 50-day moving average is right here, right? Yesterday's low. You could even break it a little bit. Come up, make some higher lows. Target developing value, developing POC, which whatever that would be. I don't know what that would be, right? See, that'd be one target, and then you start targeting overnight high again. right? I'm That's this level, playing off this level, right? This week low. And you also have to see we've been buying and buying and buying, but there's so much demand here. The market's really having sellers are not very strong right now. You're only going to be strong and when you break these levels. That's when they get my attention. That's when the sellers get my attention. You start making, you start accepting value below these levels. That's when I'll be like, okay, well, man, the sellers are starting to gain some strength. Okay. So key level right here. Overnight low, week low. Call it 40.80. Okay. 40.80 is the level. Let's look at the NASDAQ. That's not the chart I wanted to show you guys. Okay. Here's the NASDAQ, right? So the NASDAQ is not gapping up. Okay, so NASDAQ's weaker than the ES right now. So we have an overnight high still in supply. Okay. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay. Overnight low. We're basically at settlement at the close yesterday. Okay. We're in yesterday's range. Now, it's a kind of a balanced market in the NASDAQ right now. Kind of at the midpoint of this session of the overnight, right? Not a lot to read into that. Okay. Not a lot to read into that. The week low isn't as great here, but it's not bad. Okay. Because here's the most traded price of yesterday. Here's settlement. So it's a little bit at the close. Okay. Now, you do have a decent amount of volume here in the overnight. So this is not as pretty as a week low. It's not as clean as the ES. But if we do come through here, I would expect when you have a demand zone here, that's a short little pop. I don't like it as much as I like the ES's short. Okay. Plus, we're in the middle of the range. Right? So PCE right now, it hasn't done. It got some volatility. You got to remember too, this market is overbought right now. But again, I'm not saying you can't go that's not a reason not to go long, but it's a reason. It's a reason. I think the market could be due for some type of pullback, some type of correction before it makes a move higher. It could just fly higher today. Okay. So in the NASDAQ, really what I'm only interested in, I'm not interested in longs up here. So let's talk about the longs. You're up here, I'm not interested in longs. I'm just not. Okay. Where I am interested is if we come back down here into this demand. And now there's a gap here. Okay. Let's say we hold this gap. It can't fill the gap. Even if it fills it, as long as it fills it and we hold in this demand, and you could pop right out of this demand, but if you start making higher lows here, that could fuel this move higher. Because you need liquidity. You need sellers to fuel the move higher. Okay, like I said, I think a lot of the shorts have covered already. So you need new buyers. And you need sellers to turn into buyers to cover. Okay, so that's really what I'm interested in, is a pullback in the NASDAQ. The other thing that you could, there's a huge supply zone, and I'll just show how big it is. It's really big. Okay, so of course, can we come up here and start to fail up here, because it's a huge supply zone. Okay, start making lower highs. I'd really have to see some weakness come into the market for me to be like, ooh, I want to get short, right? But I would if the right levels lined up, right? So that could take you down to the overnight low into here, right? But we're in an uptrend. We're in an overall, obviously downtrend, but we're in an uptrend right now of the short term. So, like I said, that could be the short. I would only really be interested in a short per se if we come down here, get out of this demand, right? Fill the gap, kind of hold here, and then you have demand here. You know, it's not. I'm not. Here. I'm not a big fan of it yet, just because the market's been so resilient, right? Again, this big level here in the 129.10 is the big level in the Nasdaq. Okay, I'm only taking sellers serious if we're under here. So above here, I want to really look for longs, to be honest with you, right? So it's really in the Nasdaq. Really, if we come down here, you look for the long. If we come down here and the market's, needs to take some of this froth off these buyers, right? And you hold here above this level, you want to go long. That's what I'm interested in until we break this level. Okay. So the PCE is, you got to look about what the market just did. We just like ripped. We just ripped higher. It can go higher. It can. It's just you might need a pullback. That's why I'm not going to chase any longs up here. I want pullbacks. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Um, let's just look at crude. Yesterday in crude, man, I even told you my plan in crude yesterday, but I was sometimes you miss trades, and I was like fixated, and I didn't even take a trade yesterday. I actually did take a trade. It's a lie. I have a long put vertical on snow. Um, but it's a small risk. So, but I didn't take any day trades yesterday. That was very hard to read. I almost shorted Microsoft. It would have been a winner when I wanted to do it, but I just didn't like the read of the market. Okay. But in crude, I got my pullback to demand. I even talked about this yesterday. I said I wanted to see it hold this level. I got the pullback. I actually saw it, but I was like watching the market, and then I just like honestly forgot about it, and then it ripped higher. So unfortunate, but sometimes you don't get every trade. So it's gapping up right now. Kind of a balanced profile in the overnight. There's a demand zone here, so I would really want to see it. A pullback. I'd be interested here, but I'm not going to chase it. So that's what I'd be looking for today. This pullback. And just to go over some of my favorite charts, just to look like where we're at here. I'm going to wrap it up just so we can give everybody a scope. Here's the monster level, 40.23, okay? And we're above it, okay? We do have, you can see right here, kind of like a low volume node here. And what's that level, right? That's about 41.28. So you can see that was resistance right here, resistance here. So I could, if we make a move, you could possibly go up to that level, 41.29, 41.26, 28, those kind of levels, right? And then we have 41.63 was last month's most traded price of the month. So we could possibly push right up to here. So that's what I'm seeing in the ES, NASDAQ. So Nasdaq obviously stronger. Monster level here. That's 12221. Okay. Big node here too. Okay. Um, and we haven't. We're kind of almost in a little uncharted territory of late. So the next high volume node is here. That is 132.43. 132.43. Possibly a next destination. We haven't been in this area for a long time. So you can see last month's highs here. Right now we're about at prices almost right at that last month's high. So if I go over here, let's see the last time there's prices been around that area. We'll line them up. Could be a while ago. I'm still going. Jeez. All right, here we go. Here we got some price action here. You can see it's going to come into your screen where in the last time we were in that area. There we go. I went too far. I went way too far. But that's great. This just froze on me. I have a pretty powerful computer too, and the Nasdaq ticks data, when you play around with it a little bit sometimes, it's a beast because there's so many ticks and so much data. All right. Sorry, guys. So this data you see here now is the last time we were at this node, and you can see why. So this right here, let's see, this month, it was August 26th. Okay, 132.51, 132.45 was the most traded price of this month. Okay, that's what that node is, just to show you guys. That's where I think we could possibly go if we go higher. Now you can see there's also a high here. That was on September 13th. So we have that high here, and we have that this was the most traded price of that month in August. That's why that node is there. Okay. So let's see if we go there. I don't know. I don't know that, but that could be that. I would very likely be the next destination. All right. So let's just take a quick look at what's going on here. All right, we're gapping up. We moved up a little higher in the ES. Nasdaq still within yesterday's range. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Gapping up, right? Week low, 40.80. That's the level I want to play with. The only other thing I'd be interested in, and I know this is long-winded today, I apologize, but I have to say this. I'm not going to get long up in here. But if we do make a move higher, we're gapping and going, right? And we take out this supply. If there's the new demand that forms in here, then I would be interested in maybe a pullback here. So just to give that, I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that if this level doesn't come into play. But the 40.80 level it's everything to me right now, unless we just gap and go, and then you have to look for a pullback later, right? All right. Well, that's it for me. Sorry, I was a little long-winded today. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. Hope you guys have a good day. Stay patient, stay green, have a good weekend. And if there's anything to know, I will make a video. And hopefully this helps everybody out. And I'll see everybody, not if not later, tomorrow, on Monday. All right.